Hi, my name is Duck, and I am a commercial product photographer and photography instructor. With the current situation we find ourselves with this COVID-19, I thought I would share my 5 tips for a better video presentation, or as I like to call it, how to add a little zip to your Zoom. In this presentation, I'll be covering several things, but it starts with good light. We're going to cover good background. We're going to discuss good sound, talk a little bit about good video, and of course, how to have a good presence. At its fundamental core, video conferencing involves a camera. To get a good image from any camera, you need good light. Without good light, you will not get good video. Normally, front light tends to flatten the subject, but it provides great even light. It also helps to reduce a lot of the flaws. Position a lamp directly in front of you, preferably behind your camera, and try to use daylight balanced bulbs. They will have 55K or they will say daylight on the package. If you don't have a bright light and it's a nice day out, at least turn yourself into a window. If it's too harsh, either back away a little bit from the window or draw some shears in order to soften the light coming in through the windows. Or if there's not enough coming in through the window, perhaps use a combination of both. An introduction of shadows helps to add a little bit of drama and dimension, giving you a cinematic look. Place your light at approximately 45 degrees to yourself for that nice wraparound light. Again, if you are positioning yourself with a window, position yourself 45 degrees to the window and have shears to help soften the light coming through the windows. Light coming in from the back places you in deep shadows, creating a very hard to look at silhouette. Use a brighter light in front behind your camera to counter any backlighting. Close your blinds or curtains to minimize any brightness behind you. Too often people just plop their laptops down without considering what's behind them. Always look behind so you don't get embarrassed on your videos. Backgrounds that are free of distractions will help keep the viewer's attention on you where it should be. The simplest, of course, is a blank wall. If privacy is an issue, avoid views of personal items such as family photos or expensive home equipment that might lure unwanted visitors to your location. Nothing distracts more than a cluttered background, and nothing is more disturbing or embarrassing than a dirty background. Again, be aware of what's behind you. Use darkness in order to hide any background clutter. So if you have a light directly in front of you, make sure that the rest of the room is in darkness. Close your blinds, turn off any background lights. Now, many conferencing software, such as Zoom, have color keying ability, known as green screen, to change the backgrounds with custom images or even video clips. I'm standing directly in front of a green screen right now in order for me to present this slideshow. Now, green, blue, and red keying screens are fairly inexpensive. You can buy them from Amazon or eBay for $20, $30 for a decent backdrop. Some programs, such as Zoom, allow you to key out just a blank wall, so you don't even need a green screen. Now, for best results, don't wear anything that matches your keying screen. Otherwise, you will become invisible and maybe end up looking like a pair of flopping arms and a floating head. There's a saying in the video world, you can salvage bad video so long as you have good audio. Glitchy, dim, or even blank video can be tolerated a lot more than stuttering, tinny, or low volume audio. You don't need to invest in high-end equipment. Even the cheapest plug-in microphone will sound a lot better than your laptop's built-in microphone. For greatest compatibility, my suggestion is to spend a little bit more and buy yourself a USB microphone. They tend to offer a lot more software support and typically better tonal quality. If not, at least get one that plugs into the microphone jack of your computer. The typical is the 1/8 inch jack, audio jack. Now, these inexpensive headsets offer some privacy with your conversation, and it also offers distortion-free sound without any unwanted echoes being picked up from your speaker by the microphone. Now, the downside is that these are not the most fashionable of headwear. For best sound, do not place the microphone directly in front of your mouth. It will pick up every pop and hiss coming from your mouth as the air passes the microphone. And if you don't want one that completely goes over your head, consider getting a minimal one that just wraps over the ear and has the microphone right at the side. They're very unobtrusive and fairly inexpensive as well. For more professional sound, as I mentioned earlier, a USB-powered microphone offers better tonal range. They also allow a lot more than one person to talk in a conversation, especially if you are in a group environment. The omnidirectional microphones allows multiple people to have a discussion within the range of that one microphone. Now, to avoid speaker echo with microphones, a microphone should be placed far enough away from your speakers and close enough to your mouth in order to pick up your voice without picking up any distractions from the speaker. While audio trumps video any day, there's also something to be said about the frustrations of bad video. Reduce your viewers' frustrations with these simple tips. A camera's view is a cone. The sensor is what creates a rectangle. Now, pointing your lens directly at your eyes places the cone halfway above your head. The angle of view also gives you the viewer a clear view of your ceiling. Not a very flattering sight. Aim the camera a little bit lower, all right? Typically lower than what feels normal. For a typical head-to-shoulder presentation, you want the camera to be pointing towards the base of your neck. Of course, you can use the preview of your screen to preview yourself, make sure that you are properly positioned within the frame. Maximize your view by placing the camera parallel to your body at a good distance. Anywhere between 2 to 3 feet away is good for a standing presentation, or approximately 18 to 24 inches if you're directly seated in front of your computer. Raise your camera rather than angling the camera upwards. For a standard head and shoulders, as I mentioned, you want the angle of view to hit somewhere about base of your neck. A slightly downward, meaning placing the camera slightly above, looking down, tends to flatter people a little bit more, making your face a little bit more pronounced than your body. Web cameras have an extremely wide angle of view. This angle of view often distorts physical perspectives, especially things that are closer to a lens. Now, Overall, video compresses our three-dimensional space into two dimensions, height and width. Keep your movements close to your body to avoid that awkward distortion. By keeping your actions here, it presents a more natural view to your audience. If you need to fill the frame for some reason, move to the side instead of towards the camera. Now, have you heard how the camera adds 10 pounds to you? Well, it also helps to minimize body language. How you present yourself in front of the camera speaks a lot about you before you even say one word into the microphone, especially when we are presented with the Brady Bunch grid. For important presentations, I would suggest you consider standing up for your presentation. It gives you a more professional appearance. If you do not want to stand up, at least get yourself a backless stool that you can sit on that kind of forces your posture to be a little bit more upright. And as I mentioned, also lean a little bit into the camera or place the camera slightly above eye level and lean into it in order to maximize your face and minimize the body. Now, video is not only flattens, but also constrains our view to a small rectangle. The subtleties of facial expressions become diminished. Now, to compensate, you need to be more animated in front of the camera. Engage with your audience by presenting to the camera. Elevate your enthusiasm so that it travels well across video. When showing items to a camera, you want to keep your hands steady, and it assures that the viewers will see the item. It's often very frustrating when you're moving the item around, as it causes a lot of video blur, and it makes it almost impossible for your viewers to focus on what it is you're trying to present. By keeping it steady, it allows people to get a better view of what it is that you're presenting to them. Right? You can even bring it a little bit closer, but just mind that your camera will have a minimum focusing distance, so you want to be within that. Right? Also, watch out for any harsh reflections that may be bouncing off of shiny surfaces that you're presenting. They can be very annoying to the viewer. Now, for your next online presentation, remember these 5 points to consider. Good light, good background, good sound, good video, and of course, not the least, a good presence in front of the camera. Well, I hope you enjoy these 5 tips for creating a better video presentation, and I look forward to reading your comments down below. Thank you.